U.S. officials are saying in terms of what started this attack and possibly what could determine how much bigger this conflict gets. U.S. officials are saying that there's no proof or suggestion of direct Iranian involvement. What are you learning?
Yeah, well, I mean, in general terms, Israeli officials that I've spoken to agree with that assessment in the sense that they're saying, look, the backdrop of this is that Iran provides material support, training, political support for Hamas. But there is a difference. There's a gap between what you just said then and what Israeli intelligence is suggesting. They're saying to me, a senior Israeli official telling me earlier, that Iran green-lighted the idea of this operation. Didn't know about the timing, perhaps, didn't quite understand, perhaps, as many of us didn't, the consequences of what this operation would be, but knew this operation was in the offing and that it was being planned. And that's very different to having no involvement whatsoever.
Yes,
it's not that Iran was pulling
different.
the strings, but it's somewhere in the middle.
So General Hodges, a senior Hamas official, is now claiming that they spent 2 years. 2 years. I mean, it's amazing to think about that, as Matthew and I are standing here. 2 years preparing for this unprecedented attack on Israel, and that it did have financial as well as weapons support from Iran. Also saying that Russia reached out after the attack. So, General Hodges, when you put all this together, how significant is this? Not just the involvement that they are saying they had from both Russia and Iran, but also the length of time that they are saying they planned this, that Israel did not see it coming.
So, Aaron, I think this is Russia opening up a second front. I mean, what's going on now is distracting so much attention and even resources away from Ukraine, which of course benefits Russia. Nobody even has mentioned Ukraine hardly in the last 96 hours. I think it's probably accurate when the administration says there was no direct involvement, but the way you and Matt have laid it out, it's the green lighting, the weapons, I mean, I watched the training video of these guys, what they were doing to prepare for this attack. This is not something you do in your garage or your basement. I mean, this is really high quality effort on the side of Hamas.
And Matthew, you know, we're talking, I was talking to someone today. I mean, there's stories about, IDF fighters taking on, 8 to 10 of these fighters and fighting for hours and hours in hand-to-hand combat, that this was also going on for quite some time. That these were not just highly motivated, but highly prepared and highly armed individuals.
Yeah, I mean, this has been an incredible shock, Aaron, of course, to the people of Israel. They're enraged by it. And of course, it's been surprising as well. And I think it was probably surprising for Hamas as well. I mean, they from what I've been hearing, it's not entirely clear they thought they were going to be so successful, if I can use those terms. Perhaps they wanted to get some Israeli hostages, perhaps they wanted to use that to negotiate better terms in Gaza. But where they've gone to has led to the brink of utter catastrophe for them and for Gaza.
And General Hodges, when you think about what we actually saw on the border today, right along that border 3 miles away, very blatant massing of Israeli forces. They're bussing them in. We saw all of that on the ridge. We heard heavy outgoing fire. We heard the fighter jets and the explosions, and we saw them in Gaza. And then at one point, 60 rockets came in. It was a barrage. It was an onslaught. That's the tempo that we experienced throughout the afternoon today. General Hodges, what does this say to you about what is next? Do you sustain this sort of back and forth if something isn't imminently about to occur?
Well, I'm putting myself in the shoes of the commander of say, a battalion commander or a company commander, and I want to know what is my mission. Soldiers cannot stay in a crouch or coiled like this indefinitely. So what you have shown very clearly is that they are in this crouch getting ready for something, but are they going in there to do a punitive strike, go in for a few days, kill as many Hamas as they can, or is this going to end up in an occupation that maybe lasts for several months? That's a different sort of thing. That's what I would want to know if I was the commander. What's the end state we're being sent in to achieve? No matter which, either of these two possibilities, it's going to be very, very difficult. You've pointed out the bulldozers. The Israelis are probably as good as anybody in the world at using bulldozers and other capabilities inside a densely packed, densely populated area like this. They know how to do this, but even with that, it's still going to be very costly.
And Matthew, as you have spent so much time in Ukraine, and we were there as the war began, there are more than double the number of troops that Putin had at one point on that border at the beginning, along this border with Gaza. A very small, everything here is in a very small space, just to give everyone a sense of the massive force that is prepared.
Yeah, they're going to need overwhelming force because Gaza is one of the most densely populated areas in the world. It's got thin, narrow streets, terrible fighting conditions. It's crisscrossed by a network of tunnels
Right.
that are controlled by...
You were showing some of those to us.
Exactly, yeah. But I mean, the other thing is that 150 hostages, remember, inside Gaza. That's got to complicate any kind of military operation.
Absolutely. All right. Well, General Hodges, thank you. Thank you very much. And Matthew, thank you very much.